going on. For all the gaming enthusiasts, we have MUJ ACM, who's going to brief you on game development.
Hello, hi everyone. Okay, so all of us in our lifetime have at least played one game. We all agree, right? So how are these games made? What is the process behind it, and what all things do you require to make your own game? So we'll talk about all of these things. Okay. So let me start off with my introduction. I am Anmol Bajpayee. I am in my third year. I'm pursuing computer science from this college, and I am a game developer. I make games, and one of the games that I'm making is going to be released in December this year on Steam. We all have heard of Steam. I'm sure a lot of people here are gamers, right? Can you raise your hands, people who are gamers? Yeah, so you all must have heard of Steam. So, okay. So I'm Anmol Bajpayee. I have worked in a startup for 5 months that made hyper casual games. So what is a hyper casual game? A game which has minimal functionality, like Flappy Bird. We all have played Flappy Bird, right? So it has, what do you do in Flappy Bird? You just tap it, and you just tap on it, and it like that's the basic functionality. So games that have minimal functionality, there's a big market in India for games like those. So I made some of those games, and they're soon going to be released on the Play Store as well. Yeah. So let's discuss the agenda for today. So I'm going to introduce you to game development. Then I'll tell you what are the different types of games, third-person games, first-person games, what is the difference between all of those. Then I'll tell you what engines are used to make games. So we'll get on to that. And then programming languages that are used in game development. Then what all jobs can you aim for? If you are going to become a game developer, what all jobs can you aim for? Then I'll peek into one vision is, it's the game that I am working on, and which will be released in December. You'll get a brief intro of it, and then I'll also provide you some learning resources at the end of the session, so that you all can go home and start learning and start making your own games. So introduction to game development. So what is game development? The games you play, they are gone through a very streamlined process which consists of programming, design, and art. So all of these things combined, they turn into they make a game. So this whole process, this whole development process is known as game development. So this is how, like every game, each game has a lot of different things. If you are talking about Counter-Strike, it has the mechanism to make the enemies dead, to make the enemies respawn, to reduce their health when a bullet hits them, to shoot a bullet through the gun. All of these mechanisms, they are coded. The programming languages are used, and they are coded, and then design is implemented onto them, and then art is also implemented, and all of these things combine. They turn into a game, and then it is released to the market, and you all then play it. So this is the process of development, and this is what I do. This is what I am briefing about, and what I would expect you to do as well. So these are the types of games. So top-down games. These are top-down games are the games where the camera is on the top, and you have a view from the top of the games. Like a lot of games are like these. Then there are third-person games. So what are third-person games? I am the protagonist of the game, and the camera is right behind me, so that you can view me as well. These are like, I'm sure you know about what first-person and third-person is as normal. And what are first-person games? So first-person games is what you view from your eyes. That perspective you have. Like if I'm holding a gun, I'll be able to see. So like CSGO and all of those games. Then racing games. Racing games, we all know, Asphalt and all of those. Augmented reality games. So what are augmented reality games? You are in your own world and you bring a virtual object inside that world. So that is augmented reality. Pokemon Go. How many of us have played Pokemon Go? A lot of people. So, and then VR games. So virtual reality, the headsets and all of those things. Okay, so what are the platforms used for game development? How can you yourself go home and start making your own game? So how is that possible? That is through a platform. So there are different platforms that are available in the market. Some companies make their own platforms, but a lot of platforms are available for absolutely free for a person who has no idea about game development. They can go home and they can start learning these platforms and they can start making their own games. So some of the platforms are this Unity, Cocos, Unreal, Godot and Game Maker. I personally use Unity and Unreal Engine. These are pretty good if you would like to start with them, and at the end I'll also provide learning resources so you can get started with them. And then, so programming languages used. So why do we need programming languages in the first place? If I want to develop a game, can I not develop it without them? There is a possibility to develop games without them, but why do we need programming languages? So programming languages, first I want to know my audience. So how many people have used a programming language before? Okay, so a few of you have used it. Okay, that's fine. So I'll tell you what a programming language is. So what programming language does is, for any field, it's a generic introduction to what a programming language is, that for any field, it provides a functionality to the computer. What you tell the computer that I want this particular thing to behave in this particular way, and you do that through code. So that code is your programming language, and it's just a way of you telling the computer that I want this behavior. So again, there are different programming languages. There's C++, there's C#, there's JavaScript and Python. I use C# and C++ for Unreal and Unity, and these are some of the languages that you all can learn and then make games with it. Then, so what are the possible jobs? You don't, if you are not very interested in programming, it's fine. You can also be a designer, you can be an artist, you can be an AI programmer. So what's an AI programmer? Are we familiar with the term NPCs? Can you tell me what NPCs are? Yeah, sure. Bilkul sahi. That's right. That's correct. So NPCs are non-playing characters. So so all these non-playing characters, they have a AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. So they have this intelligence that is programmed, that tell them a way to behave. So they are programmed in that way that they know how to behave inside of that game. So that's also an interesting field. You can be a tester. So what are testers? A tester is a pretty cool job. So what is a tester? You get money for playing games and for telling what are the errors and what are the problems with the game. You have to report all of these, and you can play games and you get money for that. So does that not sound fascinating? So that is also one of the possible options. And then we have designers, we have artists, we have writers. So all of these games, Last of Us. So how many of us have played Last of Us? So yeah, a lot of people. So Last of Us has a beautiful story. So it must be written by somebody, right? So this is also a possible field that you can explore. You can write the story behind these games. And this is Envision, the survival game that I am building. It will be released on Steam by the end of this year. So if I tell you, if I ask you to play it, would you all like to play it? Yes. That's great. That's great. So like now, I would request you to take out your phones and scan this QR code. You will get the link to my GitHub repository. I'm sure like you are in 11th class, so you must not be having GitHub accounts, right? Are there people in the audience that do not have GitHub accounts? Everybody has a GitHub account? Oh. Okay, so you can scan this QR code and you can get a link to my repository, and you can go home and get started with these videos. I have added some tutorials, some very basic tutorials which will get you started with game development. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can visit my website. It's anmolbajpai.com, and also you can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you do not have a LinkedIn account, go ahead and make one. It's a very good platform. It will open a lot of opportunities for you to explore, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll accept your request, and you can visit my website and you can go to the My Work section to know about what all work I'm doing. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody.